Hi, this masterclass is on creating a minimum viable product by JioGenNext Academy. My name is Maseeh. I'm a communication designer. I worked in the tech space, specifically the edtech space, for the last 8 years or so. My last stint was with a company called Utter, an edtech startup focused on communication skills training and job placements. My role at these organizations has primarily been focused on product research, design, and user experience. A little bit about Utter. We started off as a language learning platform focused primarily on English fluency for personal and professional needs. The entire platform was based on chat and specifically live one on one chat with a tutor as a medium of teaching and learning, along with supportive tools that were built on top of it. It was an adult learning platform. Our primary users were between 18 to 35 years of age, either students, fresh graduates, or working professionals. Each of these category of users had their own needs and reasons to want to improve their English fluency. We would essentially connect a learner to a tutor for a 30 to 40-minute live chat session on a given topic. That is how we started many years ago. However, the product, of course, evolved to become a lot more from there on. In this session, we will talk about creating a minimum viable product, or an MVP as we call it. An MVP is a version of your product which has the core features or the essential features of your product for you to be able to validate your concept and get early feedback from your users. The key words to note here are core features, validation of your concept, and getting early feedback. Being able to collect data early on is important for you and your team to have the confidence to go ahead and finalize your product and build your future roadmap. We'll try and break this topic into a few different sections. 1. Formalizing your idea or your concept. 2. Defining your MVP in terms of its features, design, and technology. 3 is building your prototype, what kind of methods and tools you can use. Testing your prototype with users. And finally, creating your product roadmap on the basis of the learnings and feedback from the above. By now, I would assume that you have a clear idea of your problem statement, your solution, your target audience, and possibly your business model if that is important to you and your team from early on. I would also assume that you have defined your product offering and its features to a certain extent. If not, this would be the right time to do so. It might be helpful to list down the why, the who, the what, and the how. Why are you building this product? Who are you building this product for? What is your solution? And how is it going to help them? For example, with Utter, we realized that there was a strong need for English fluency amongst graduates and working professionals to either give their job interviews or for them to grow and to succeed in their working environments. This is what our research showed us, and that was our primary motivation towards building our product. While conducting our research, we also realized that chat as a medium of teaching and learning worked well with our users. It was a safe space where they did not feel the pressure of being in front of a teacher or a student while trying to frame their sentences in English, and they could take their time to do so. Unlike a physical classroom with many students, where they may feel shy or intimidated, there was no pressure of being judged by anyone. Having the above listed down will help you and your team have clarity on your MVP and prioritize your product features and functionality. When defining your MVP, it would be helpful to list your product features into 3 buckets: must have, nice to have, and save for later. You can place your features into these buckets on the basis of what you believe is absolutely crucial to your product from its functionality and uniqueness of it. Notice how the must-haves have the least number of items in it, while the save for later is the biggest bucket. It would be helpful for you and your team to really think about what is important to your product and filter out everything else. What you will take forward in your MVP should ideally only be the features that are in the must-have bucket. Everything else can be saved for later. With Utter, the entire concept revolved around chat and the ability to be able to create a teaching and learning experience on top of it. That was the most crucial feature of our product. So as part of our MVP, we only focused on creating a chat experience for a learner and a tutor and building the right teaching and learning tools that we felt were unique to our product. We did not worry about other aspects such as a sign-up flow, a content library, a catalog, or any other ancillary features or functionality of the product at this stage. Similarly, let's say you're creating a payments app. The most crucial feature for you to build and test would be the ability to be able to transfer funds from person to person and the interface and interactions to facilitate that. Or let's say you're creating a photo editing app. Then the most crucial features of your product would probably be the ability to click or upload an image, the editing tools, and the key features that you may be providing to the users that are unique to your product. Everything else, such as say a photo library or a social media feed or sharing features, can be in the nice to have or save for later. You need to decide what is most crucial to your product and its users. In your MVP, it is also important to strike the right balance between the user experience and the technology. It may not always be the perfect product in terms of the design or the code. There may be times when you may have to compromise on either one of these, but that is fine. The idea is to get the product up and running as early as possible so that you are able to get feedback from your users and validate your concept. One of the best things about building a digital product is the ability to be able to fix it or to upgrade it at any point in time. All you need to do is send an update. Unlike, let's say, a physical product like a chair or a car, where you need to be absolutely sure of every aspect of it before you push it out on the manufacturing line. That's not to say that you should push out a product without doing a thorough testing, but at an early stage, you can afford to leave certain features behind and test what is really important to you. Once you have prioritized your features, visualize your user's journey and the various scenarios that they can undertake. You can do this by creating a flowchart of the screens and the functionality, or sketching out a rough screen flow on paper. Ensure that you capture every single scenario and functionality within the features that you may have selected for your MVP. You can use tools such as Miro or Figma to create these user flows for you and your team. These softwares provide simple and easy to understand interfaces for you to create your designs. They're also collaborative tools, meaning that you can add your team members to your document and have them share feedback and suggestions in real time as well. When you have a journey defined and the scenarios listed down, you can start to design a basic wireframe and lay out the features on a screen. You can create this as a mobile or web-based design, depending on your product and use case. Remember that it is not important to have selected the final color palette or the final icon set or any other visual element at this stage. You will have plenty of time to do that later. Building a wireframe quickly would help your team understand and visualize the user journey and the programming efforts that may be required to create a functional version of the same. While creating your prototype, ensure that you're following the basic interaction patterns and guidelines of the operating systems for which you are creating your designs. Whether it is iOS, Android, or the web, each of these platforms provide plenty of guidelines and resources which you can find online. Keeping the interaction patterns consistent would help your users get comfortable with your product easily and bring familiarity to it. You can also use the design libraries of Android or iOS to download and use the various UI components that are readily available. This would help you fasten your design process as well. You may use tools such as Figma or Sketch or Adobe XD to create your interfaces, and tools such as Marvel or InVision to link it up and build a screen flow. Figma provides you the option to link your screens to create your interactions and animations as well, so you need not switch between softwares. These softwares also provide UI components that are easily available, which you can drag and drop to create your interfaces for your prototypes if you wish to do so. So, as mentioned earlier, for our MVP at Utter, we only focused on creating the chat experience for our learners and tutors. It was a simple prototype with 2 screens, a list of topics. These were what we call trending topics, which were essentially topics from current events, news, etc., and a chat screen where a learner would connect to a tutor for a live one-on-one conversation in English on a chosen topic. From a conceptual perspective, the idea was simple. We wanted to present learners with the opportunity to interact with a tutor and indulge in the English language. Allowing learners to pick the topic of their choice would ensure that they are more involved in the conversation. The tutor would provide corrections to the learners' text and audio bubbles as they were conversing. From an MVP perspective, we wanted to understand if the experience of learning on chat was valuable to our users and if the interactions that we had built for them were easy to understand and follow. With a prototype that has the basic screens and interactions in place, you can consider asking a few potential users to test your product and the interactions. It is important for you to observe and learn from your users, document their insights, and improve your product on the basis of the feedback you receive from them. To start with, provide them with a background of your product and its use case. Allow them to explore the prototype and its available interactions. Observe how they interact with the design. Give them scenarios such as completing a certain task or accessing a certain feature. This would help you understand if your design is intuitive enough and if there are things that need to be changed or improved. It is important to get both quantitative and qualitative feedback from your users. Quantitative feedback can be collected by sharing a questionnaire or a form with your users. This could have questions such as how easy was it to find a particular feature? Did you find a particular feature helpful? You can build your own scale for these kind of questions and share it with multiple participants to collect their feedback. Qualitative feedback can be more personal and in person. Qualitative feedback would help you understand the whys and the hows of your product much better. Why did a user find a feature or an experience good or bad? How did it make them feel? These are the kind of questions that you should be asking to get more deeper insights from your users to understand why they really connect with your product or your service. Remember to document your interactions with your users in the form of a video or an audio for you to be able to view it later. Listen to the conversations closely and document any interesting comments or insights shared by them. This would help you and your team to have more constructive and objective conversations about what you can do to improve your product and define your future product roadmap. Your product roadmap can be built on the basis of your feedback and learnings from the prototypes, what your users need, what your business needs, and what your team is able to deliver. It is important for you and your team to also define your vision, your priorities, and your business goals. Allow the various teams within your organization, such as tech, design, marketing, or business, to list down their priorities in terms of features and functionality required and why they feel it is important for them. Once you have all the inputs, prioritize them basis your goals. You can then work backwards to set various milestones that will help you reach the eventual goal. You can start by defining the roadmap for a period of 6 months to a year. Divide them into quarters or weeks and set frequent milestones for your team. This will keep them motivated and will ensure that you're able to provide regular updates to your product and to your users. Once your product starts gaining traction, you will start receiving feedback either from your users or from your platform in terms of your backend data and analytics. You may realize at times that the roadmap that you had set forth initially would have to be altered on the basis of your learnings, and that is something that would happen organically. All you need to do is to ensure that you have the data and insights from your users to make informed decisions about the future of your product. With Utter, our product evolved organically over time with new features and functionality which were created on the basis of our experience of managing the product and the feedback that we were constantly receiving from our users. While we started off with just live one-on-one chat between a learner and a tutor, we soon realized that the rate at which we were onboarding new users, it was becoming difficult for us to balance the ratio between the number of tutors and learners available at any given point in time. Hence, the idea of chatbots came into existence. The chatbot was an automated self-learning experience where the learner could learn a concept on their own and only then connect with the tutor to practice the same. This helped us greatly in managing the tutor to learner ratio and provided learners with a new way of learning that was quick and interactive. In this way, we started developing hundreds of chatbots on various topics. Soon, our content library started expanding to a point where we needed to find a better way to organize and present the content to our learners. This led to the creation of the catalog screen, which became the primary starting point for a learner's journey on Utter. Up until this point, Utter was a free app. However, we needed to find a way to start monetizing our content and the platform to achieve our business goals. We found two opportunities. One was monetizing the courses and content available on our catalog, along with the live expert chat being sold as a premium offering. And two was licensing our platform to other businesses for their training and skilling purposes. This was an interesting offshoot for us as many businesses started approaching us to use our platform for their skilling requirements. We introduced Utter for Business as a white label solution, meaning that businesses could license the platform and brand it their own. We worked with companies in various sectors such as hospitality, logistics, finance, and others. This allowed us to grow our business and our product use case beyond just language learning. As we kept growing, we were also facing challenges with retention of users on the platform. We realized that the content that we offer in our catalog remains the same from the day that a new user signs up on the app until the time that they remain on the platform. We needed to provide learners with new and updated content on a regular basis to bring them back to the app. This is how classroom sessions came into being. Classroom sessions were live group learning sessions with a tutor. We would conduct 2 to 3 sessions at different times of the day on various topics. This worked very well for us in terms of maintaining a healthy active user base and ensuring that there is something new and exciting for learners to look forward to each day. While speaking with our users, we realized that many of them were looking for a more personalized learning journey that was catered specifically to their English learning needs. Whether it was learning English in the context of working as a software engineer in a tech company or applying for a sales representative job at a healthcare startup. They wanted a structured curriculum and schedule created for them instead of trying to pick their own topics or build their own journey as it was on Utter. This resulted in Utter Pro, a new product offering where we created 30 to 60-day training programs for our learners with content that was customized specifically to their learning needs. The program was guided by a tutor who helped them throughout their learning journey. This also allowed us to create a premium offering with a higher revenue potential as well. Pro School was created shortly after we introduced Utter Pro. With Pro School, we went a step beyond Utter Pro, where we not only provided a customized learning program, but we also assisted learners in landing a job interview. We tied up with various companies that were willing to hire learners who had graduated for our program. This was a well-packaged offering to a learner where the outcome was very clearly defined. With Utter, the success of our product always depended on the outcome and the recognition that a learner received in real life. It could be something as small as being able to greet someone in English and being acknowledged for the same, or as big as being able to speak confidently in an interview and actually getting a job offer. Every new feature or offering that was created with time helped us get one step closer to our goal of providing real outcomes and creating a difference. Of course, we had our fair share of challenges in our journey of building Utter, and I'm certain that you would have yours too. As long as you embrace the challenges and ensure that the process is right in action, the product will evolve by itself. I hope you found this session helpful. Thank you and wish you all the best. Okay, we have a couple of questions that I'd like to take. This, of course, depends on your solution and your product use case. Ideally, you would pick the features that are crucial to validate your concept or that are unique to your product. Going back to the example of Utter, the chat interface was the most crucial feature of our product, and it was important for us to know if there was actual value in the interactions for that with the user. We did not worry about creating a sign-up flow or other ancillary features that are standard and present in all applications and softwares. So depending on your particular use case and your product and what you believe is unique to your product, it would be helpful to then prioritize the features in that sense. That is a good question. Initially, we were trying to address the entire adult learning market, that is learners between the age group of 18 to 35. We were certain that we were not targeting the K to 12 or the school market. However, I think over time, we started further dividing the adult learning market as well and identifying certain personas of users who were truly benefiting from our product. This focus also came into being after we decided to start monetizing the app. There was a sense of responsibility of delivering outcomes and justifying the price of the product. So that helped us in narrowing our product market further to only suit the people where we were able to deliver outcomes. Oh well, we discovered many things in our first release or our MVP that needed to be changed or removed. For example, we had provided our tutors the option to turn off the keyboard or the mic feature of a learner to force them to either type or to record audio. The idea was to replicate a classroom scenario where a teacher would direct a student a certain way. We realized that this level of control did not make the learners feel comfortable at all. They would just stop recording completely. The better way to deal with this situation was for the tutor to encourage and motivate the learners to speak and write rather than forcing them to do so. We got rid of the feature completely and our programming team was not happy. That is an important question. I think it would help for you to first define your expectations from a user of your product. Of course, we all want high engagement and usage, but you need to define what good engagement means in the context of your product. Do you expect your user to be engaged for 1 or 2 or 3 hours daily, weekly or monthly? What actions would you want the user to perform on the app that you would define as successful engagement? This would differ from product to product and the use cases for each, but basis the answers to these questions, you would need to first set the appropriate triggers or events in your product. Once you have that in place and you have sufficient data that you can collect, analyze the same to understand how many users are actually meeting the criteria of what you define as success. On the basis of this, you would be able to decide what changes you need to make to your product and in turn would be able to define your future roadmap or features. Thank you for joining our masterclass on creating a minimum viable product.